What's up, guys?
What it do?
Welcome back to Eminem Talks. I'm Maurice.
I'm Monica.
And a little late, but we're here to do what we said we were going to do.
Review that Captain America Brave New World.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I want to start out by saying happy anniversary to us.
Yes.
It is our 1 year today. Yay.
Which is why this is coming out a little bit late.
Yeah. So we've been, doing things up.
Yep.
But, all right. We're going to go ahead and just jump in right on into this because we got some things to cover. So, first off, I want to say it wasn't a bad movie.
No.
But it also was not a great movie.
No.
It was like good. And I say it that way because I'm saying like it wasn't good. It was good.
It was a good movie. Like I said in our pregame one, actually our out of theater reaction. I don't know if I was going to do a rating, but I think I will try to rate this as best as I can. Which I'm still kind of stuck, to be honest about it. This is somewhere between, out of 5 stars, I guess you could say, somewhere between that 2.5 to 3 range. I don't know what's keeping me from making it a 3-star movie, but it's around that 2.5 for me. For me, it had more flow issues.
Me too.
For me, it had more flow issues than anything.
I think the best thing for us to do is kind of walk through. Like, we're not going to go over every single part of it, obviously, but we're going to walk through from beginning to end to tell you the misses, the dislikes, the likes, and we're, kind of to sum it all up.
Yeah. This is spoilers, heavy spoilers.
Heavy spoilers. So if you have not seen it, stop now.
Yeah.
Stop now.
But it is a good movie. Like I said, it did have its issues, and it had some things for me that I really appreciated.
Same here.
Going into Sam Wilson being the new Captain America.
Speaking of that, I do want to say, while we have issues with the movie itself, I didn't have any issues with the cast. The people, the cast who played these characters, the characters themselves and the people who played them, I had zero issue with. I just want to start off by saying that because they all actually really delivered in their roles.
Except for one.
That is true. Except for one.
But we'll was... Get to that. Yeah, it's a bit of a joke that we had about her, but but for the most part, so I want to get this out of the way too. So the question going into this movie that I had, I think a lot of people had, was, will Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson's character, be able to take on the mantle and deliver his Captain America? Not trying to be Steve Rogers Captain America. He carried this movie, and I'm really glad they did not take it from him.
Yes. Yes.
I'm really happy to see that.
Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that's talking about the fact of, honestly, I'm just going to say this. There's a lot of people that don't want to see another Captain America. Mm-hmm. It is Steve Rogers is our Captain America, and if he's not Captain America, then there is no Captain America. And I'm calling bullshit. I say that because if you want me to get over Henry Cavill not being Superman and move on with Corn Sweat, then I need you to go ahead and move on from this. And again, Sam Wilson's Captain America not once ever tried to be Steve Rogers, and that's what I loved. He was his own Captain America, but he still shared and held the same values and morals as Steve Rogers did.
Which is the reason why Steve selected him in the first place.
Correct. I mean, that mantle was going to need to be carried on. So people saying that there shouldn't be another Captain America after Steve Rogers, that's bullshit because of what he stood for, what they set him up to be to America in that universe. It needed to carry on. They needed somebody to give them hope and aspire. Good Lord, I can't even talk. To aspire to someone, to look up to someone. They needed that. So that mantle absolutely did need to carry on.
Bucky's lying. in that movie.
Yes,
was
when he was talking to him
perfect.
in the room.
It was absolutely perfect.
He said Steve Rogers gave people hope, something to hope for. Sam, gave them something to aspire to, because now you've got a regular human being. This is the MCU's version of Batman. That's the way I equivalent it, just because of the fact of we're giving him, aside the Wakandan gear, the vibranium and things like that, he is just a regular human being in a suit. And he has no super serum or anything, no super soldier serum. Goddamn. That's allowing him to do the things that Steve Rogers did. So, and that's another thing we're going to cover too.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let my babe finish his thought.
Yeah, that's the transition for him to become Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier was definitely needed. However, I think they should have either marketed that along with the movie, marketed the movie better, period. And then possibly have shown that on TV.
Gave us more of a transition.
Yeah. And then we talked about it before. Steve Rogers should have appeared in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
He should have.
To kind of complete that transition for him as he finally accepted that mantle.
Yeah, because I'm still going to say I hate the fact that they just kind of threw it out there.
Yeah.
They gave us like a little 2-minute skit between the two of them after Endgame, and then that was it.
That was it,
And it's
yeah.
like I've told him this multiple times. It's like they talk about him like he's dead. Steve Rogers is not dead, but yet instead we're acting as if he is, which is why he should have been in Falcon and Winter Soldier, because that passing of the torch should have had more depth to it.
Yeah.
There should have been more mentorship with Sam into this and going in there. And then, like Maurice said, at one point he should have appeared in that end credit scene in Shang-Chi. He should have, so that way we could have seen him be accepted by the other Avengers as well as being Captain America. Captain America.
That was surprising to me when I went to go see Shang-Chi, and that we got that end credit scene where we saw Banner still in a sling too, and Captain Marvel, but no new Captain America, and I was like, no, I think they missed the mark. They definitely should have included him in that. That would have let the audience know that, okay, not only is this world has transitioned to him being Captain America, but so have these other fellow Avengers members.
Correct. Mark missed.
Yeah, so that was a missed opportunity. But overall, for the movie, like I said, I like the movie. I came away happy.
Good.
I came away happy. I didn't have too high expectations of it. I wanted to see something
I had 0.
that was going to definitely continue on from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier into his own mission, and see how he handled it. I was really looking forward to, if I was expected anything, I wanted to see where the world was in a geopolitical scale, because we haven't heard much. There's been a lot of stuff coming out, but we don't know what the hell is really going on. And now we kind of know. They were, wanting to share the new resource, the new adamantium amongst other countries. But overall, the movie was good. Definitely had its issues. You can tell where the edits were. You can tell where the reshoots were. There was some stuff in the trailer that did not show up in the movies at all. Funeral scene. There was a hallway scene that had the Secret Service agent for Ross and
Ruth and the
I forget her name.
Ross's assistant.
Yeah. That was on one of the carriers, it looked like. That scene was gone. I saw the leaks earlier on of Betty Ross at a funeral. So Ross was like he was supposed to die in this. They removed a lot.
I don't mind reshoots and edits and whatever the case may be. I hate when I can see them.
Yeah.
And you've seen them quite easily throughout the movie. I can literally pinpoint just about every place that they cut out or did cuts at.
That part reminded me of the Marvels, because the Marvels went through extensive reshoots once Kevin Feige got his power back, and when I went to go see that movie, you can tell where it was done at, and it did salvage it, and
It still was a good movie.
It makes me it makes me think how bad really was it, the original
right.
movie.
What they did salvage, I will say, I did like the Marvels. I know a lot of people didn't. I liked it.
I didn't mind it. I think it was trash.
No, it wasn't trash.
It was below.
It wasn't the best.
It was below average, but it wasn't trash.
Correct.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be, which is why I waited so long to see it.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, and again, I'm you're gonna hear me say this a lot in our videos going forward. The fandom of the MCU comic book movies has become toxic. So there was a lot of bullshit that was coming out when that movie was being made that prevented people from going to see that movie because they hated Brie Larson. Or what the trailers was saying, with the Beastie Boys track, and her kind of responding to that toxic fandom. Star Wars has it now. Marvel has it, unfortunately.
Does. And no matter what movie we get, we're gonna get it because right now we got people calling Sam Wilson's Captain America a ghetto cap, dirty ghetto cap, like this. Just the unnecessariness
We saw something
of
on
it
there.
is
I think it came from.
BS.
I think it was either Geeks or Gamers or something like that, and Magnus had I'm done with him too, but he did a video to it, and it was something. It said Captain African American, and I'm like, you know what, dude, I'm sick of this shit. At some point, I may crash out. I'm sorry, giving you a voice. I may crash out, call out names, and welcome all the smoke. Because I could take it all.
Because the ignorance is just becoming too much. We're here because we love movies. We're here because we love what's being made. Who gives a fuck about what color they are or who's playing that character, as long as they play the character well. But then we've got a lot of people out there not liking it just because he's a black Captain America. Get over it. Get the fuck over it. Seriously.
But
whatever state this world is in right now or this country is in, who gives a shit? Get over it. We're talking about something completely different. A movie.
But he did a good job.
He did.
He did a good job. The thing that I really appreciated the most was the attention that it gave to the fact that this was not Steve Rogers in a fight.
Can I talk about the first fight then?
Because it was, and people were talking about it, and we noticed that she noticed it first.
Like right away.
Yeah, you can see.
Absolutely hated that first fight sequence.
Like over choreographed.
It was. You can see. It was almost like they were waiting for the hits. It was like Sam's character was actually doing really good, but it was like the other actors were kind of waiting. It's almost like you can hear them counting in their head, like 1, 2, 3, 4, kick, punch, move this way, move this. Like it looked like I can literally see them saying this in their head. That's how bad it was. Now I understand that they were trying to make us see this was not Steve Rogers. Sam Wilson does not have the super soldier serum, so his punches are not going to be as effective as Steve Rogers was. His fighting isn't going to be as quick as Steve Rogers was. Those transitions weren't going to be the same because he is not Steve Rogers. He is Sam Wilson, and Sam Wilson is a regular guy who has to do a lot more tricks in order to make things effective because again, his punches his hits doesn't pack the punch that Steve Rogers did, which is another thing. I disliked it because of that reason. I could absolutely see the stunt double for Anthony Mackie. I seen his stunts double more than I seen him, and that's because there's a lot more tricks involved in his fighting. So, and because of how choreographed it looked, and it was slowed down to the point to where I can literally see. I knew I was looking at a completely different person while going through these fight scenes. When that was like one of the first things I said after the movie, the first time we watched it. I hated that first fight sequence. It got better throughout, but that first one was horrible. It was complete. I hated it. I did not like it.
I appreciated it because of what it was focusing on. But it needs to be cleaned up.
The execution,
Yeah.
he's right.
It needs to be cleaned up.
I appreciate what they were trying to do, but it was not executed well at all. That looked like they were in practice. They were literally at practice.
It needs to be cleaned up, and then it made me actually go back and think. Sam Wilson is not a good fighter, nor has he ever been. He hasn't been one. Yeah. Crossbones was giving him the business in the Winter Soldier movie.
Yeah.
He's
never the only
his hand-to-hand skills is not that great,
and that's because his hand-to-hand combat skills only came from the military. And
but he was flight.
He was
his
flight.
His specialty was in
but
the
I
air.
do know the military being. Hate saying this, but an ex-spouse of military, and my daughter, our oldest daughter, she is military. I've seen what they do for hand-to-hand combat training, and it is not to the level of, say, somebody like Steve Rogers or Natasha or anybody like that. Like, I really think Natasha will whoop Sam Wilson's ass.
Yeah, easily.
She would easily whoop his ass. Hell, I think that little ex-Black Widow in there, what was her name, Ruth something?
Oh yeah, she'd give him the business.
She definitely would have gave him the business.
But that's Sam is not. He's never been a great fighter. So that made me realize something. I was like, you know what? I had to go back and think about it. Like Crossbones gave him that work in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. When was the next time we actually saw him in hand-to-hand combat? And I had to really think. There really hasn't been.
No, not anything like major, except for that one. In Winter Soldier,
that was it.
That was literally the only fight we've really seen him in a hand-to-hand combat.
Romulo Crossbones was putting in work on.
Yeah, he was. His specialty is air.
Yeah,
that man owns the fucking air. Like he uses that suit, and that's another thing. I think I've said this before. I love the way the Wakandans did his suit. Well. We know it. Anyhow, but it's like the suit isn't it? The wings are an extension of him. They're not just a robotic thing. They actually flap. They actually move they almost like they have their own vertebrae and bones and structure and stuff like that. They move with him. They move off of his emotion. It's a part of it. Almost like Octavius in Spider-Man. The way the arms move with him, that's how his wings seem like, and the way they bend, they're not robotic. They look it to an extent, but they aren't. They move like they are an extension of him, and I love that touch to that. But that's all he really has going for him which
is why we saw what we saw at the beginning, that fight scene, and that clip did not leak. They did release that. But a lot of people were talking trash about how bad it was. I'm like, first thing that came to my mind was he's not a super soldier.
No, he's not.
He's not a super soldier. Steve Rogers didn't become the Steve Rogers that we grew to love until Captain America: The Winter Soldier. He had 2 outings.
Right.
He had the first Avenger. He couldn't fight. He was just strong.
Correct.
The Avengers, they really played him down in the Avengers.
They absolutely did. Everybody else was.
Yeah, they really played him down in the Avengers. He led the team, but I think he had 2 good scenes, 3 good scenes in that movie, and that was it, 3 moments. And then the Winter Soldier came out. But then the Winter Soldier when it did come out, he had his shield training by then.
Right.
So he knew how to deliver a punch. He knew his strength. He knew all of that. So when they gave us that opening scene on the ship, he's delivering knockout punch after knockout punch after knockout kick. I mean, so at this point, he's a trained fighter. And Batroc still got his licks in on him, too.
He did.
George St. Pierre's character. So
why are we not giving Sam Captain America that same grace?
We got to give him that grace.
Because we had to watch, and he had the super serum. And we still had to watch him grow into it and then he gets training. Sam is barely starting to get training. Again, he's only had the military hand-to-hand combat skills, and now he's trying to train. Although I wish, and what I said to him too, I wish he would be trained by the Dora Milaje.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna give him a suit and stuff, at least train him or something.
Go over there and get some of their training. But
yeah, especially if you're not gonna take that super serum. Let's go ahead and get some of that training going on.
But I like
he need to fight better.
But I do like the focus on the fact that he was not a trained fighter, so he does struggle. We saw it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier too, because Batroc was giving it to him in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier until he finally took off out of that building. So he doesn't have the knockout power. What he does have, though, is agility.
Oh gosh, yes, his agility is crazy.
So they focused on that, and I was appreciative of it. There was a couple of
Same.
moves in that first fight when he was fighting that big dude, and I think he rolled him over, but he was able to pivot off with one foot and then deliver another kick like that. I was like,
his tricks.
okay, his agility, they had to work on that, and then he went to go train with Isaiah to be more agile.
Correct. And to be able to avoid those huge punches that
blows.
he has to take. So, and that's his best bet, which is why I love and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but that fight between him and the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do appreciate the fact as well that they showed us he is not Steve Rogers.
Right.
I mean, I do think it was thrown in our face a little too much, but
that was a little annoying in the movie.
I kind of understand why they needed to. There is a large amount of people who watched it who didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, so they didn't know, they didn't go through the whole stage of him not wanting to be Captain America, his struggles with it, and then accepting the shield. So they didn't get that. So they needed to make people understand this is not Steve Rogers. He is Sam Wilson. And so I appreciate the fact that the little details like that they were showing us, this is a regular man. He does not have the super soldier serum. He's learning. We had to give Steve Rogers grace. We had to give fucking Bruce Wayne grace when he was going, before he was trained by the League of Assassins. Like, there is a process to him building up, but this beginning steps out. He's actually doing a really good job. Yeah. He's still, like Maurice said, he still carried the movie. Yeah, he still carried himself, his character. He did it effortlessly. It was just the movie itself was not a good movie.
Yeah. So this movie, which I believe is the last of the Bob Chapek Disney era. And when this started shooting is right when he got fired. So Feige stepped in and did what he could do. Just as in the first, he did with Agatha all along. He did the full thing with Daredevil because they were done with Daredevil. And he said, hell no, redo everything, forked out the budget for it, and we're going to see how good it is in a couple of weeks. So I believe this is the last of it. And you could tell where he stepped in and did his thing to kind of salvage the story, because it probably wasn't going anywhere, to be honest about it. There's a lot to the story that was a little bit annoying, where it's like the leader's plan was, really? I mean, like, where were you going with? I don't know. I didn't necessarily like it. For him to be, I guess they tried to indicate that he's been in the shadows ever since 2008's Hulk. And I don't know. There wasn't much that was believable with that. He's a genius and all that, but at the same time, not that much of a genius because he wouldn't have got caught. But I'll move on from that. I'm not gonna.
I digress.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stay on that too much. That it was a week. You know what? I'll say this. It felt like the villain of the week.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
definitely agree with that.
Yeah, it felt like the villain of the week. But that Sam was able to kind of handle and get under pressure. I mean, get under control. But then they had to throw in the Red Hulk, and they gave us his fight. So,
but let's bring it back to the beginning, because after we established that choreography scene of fighting was horrible. When they got into the church, what was his name again? Big dude he fought.
I forgot his name, but something did get pointed out. And
I don't know.
And it went over my head initially.
Oh, it absolutely went over my head. It didn't even, because I guess in that moment I wasn't thinking about the fact that his suit is completely vibranium.
And before we get going on that part, that was a problem with this movie in general too, because a lot of things happened like that. The pacing went off where we didn't get a chance to process the fact that his vibranium suit just got cut by an adamantium weapon.
Well, that's where we were getting to, babe. So in that fight,
what I was saying was the pacing, because there's another part of the movie where we didn't get a chance to process the Isaiah Bradley stuff.
That's true.
And that went over our heads really quick, but I was like, holy shit, that did happen.
Right. So as they're in the church and he's fighting and he's talking to Giancarlo's character, and then he leaves them with the other guy, and if you remember his name, please drop it down in our comments. The big dude, and he slashed him, and the way he looked down at his star, it was like it didn't even process to me. I was just like, oh, okay, he cut him, and I completely spaced in that moment. His whole suit is vibranium, not just the wings, the whole suit. So the fact that his blade was able to, remember when he was holding his shield up and the guy had those blades and was like pulling them down like that blade, when he used it to cut his suit, that's why he looked at it like that, because it actually cut through his suit, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, that's not supposed to do that. So yeah, that went completely over my head.
Yeah, and once it was pointed out and I realized, wait a second, that's why he looked down and the camera stopped for a second, but they got right back to the fight. It's like, well, you didn't get the audience a chance to really process that.
I will say that, and a couple of people have said it also, and I completely agree. There was a lot of moments in this movie to where they would go down a path and be like, okay, that's enough of that.
Oh,
we're gonna go here.
Yeah.
Like, they would start down a road and we get almost to the end of that road and be like, okay, we don't want to finish that shit.
This movie has some loose ends, and I was like, what are they doing with that? Like, did they just forget about that? The fact that Isaiah Bradley shot at the president, and he pointed out that he had a clear shot and he missed, and they did. You heard nothing else about
with it after that. It was just, and there were so many other moments that it was just like, okay, so, we ain't talking about that no more. Okay, that's what we doing. Okay, all right.
But yeah, that the adamantium weapon, which should have been a really big moment, because that would have told the audience and the characters that, okay, so they've already started weaponizing adamantium. Using it, as we discovered, it was used as a dagger, and it cut through the vibranium. But the pacing part that I was talking about also was, I think we heard maybe like a millisecond of the Mr. Blue song that triggered Isaiah before he just stood up, started going off.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, damn, that happened fast.
It did.
It was boom, boom, boom.
I had to remember even if I even heard the song for a minute. I was like, wait.
There was no anticipation build up for us to realize Isaiah just got activated.
Yeah.
Like, because we as fans, we know this shit. Like, we've seen Bucky go through it.
And that was another issue I had when they were going through the process of, after they caught Isaiah and whatnot, they're all trying to figure out, what is wrong with him, and so hold on, am I the only one remembering that Bucky went through the same thing?
It took Sam a little too long,
right?
To recognize that, because he finally did.
But he wasn't the only one, though.
But I feel like that was an edit too.
It may have been an edit, but at the same time, he wasn't the only one that knew the whole situation with Bucky and everything. Everybody knows that story by now, so it's like, so I'm sitting over here like they even in the movie, I was literally sitting over there. I was like, so we gonna forget that Bucky went through this? Nobody gonna remember that? It's just me? Okay, all right.
If anybody should have caught on to that immediately, it should have been both Sam Wilson and Ross.
Yeah. It definitely should have.
And when they had that conversation at the table, and it's like, Ross, don't you know this? You should know this by now. The Winter Soldier program. The brainwashing, like, you weren't around.
They had all this evidence. They were like, well, this happened and this happened and this happened. I wonder what made him act this way. I was in the movie like, are you fucking kidding me? I was literally like, so I'm the only one that remembers what happened to Bucky. That's what we going. That's where we go. Okay,
but even story wise, that was a blown opportunity, because had they had wrote that in to make them immediately realize, somebody activated Isaiah, it would have made the story a little more interesting. Like if you're doing the whole espionage, political thriller that has to do with the super soldier, like,
Especially, I mean,
come on now, writers. Like, what are we doing?
Again.
What are we doing? That was a great opportunity to really heighten the level of suspense.
so many missed opportunities.
Like, oh my God, who's got control of Isaiah Bradley now? Who out there has that ability? So I don't know. It was a missed opportunity
was
from writing.
Not just a missed opportunity. It was just kind of. I felt like they were treating us like we were stupid a little bit, because I'm like, dude, more than the majority of the people watching this watch the other fucking movies. We watched Winter Soldier. We know what fucking Bucky went through. We know what's happening. We knew it. You didn't even have to show it in the fucking trailers, and we would have known what was happening.
I know for a fact.
That was weird, and I did not like that. I was like, y'all playing with me right now. I don't appreciate this shit.
So I'm not gonna say fact, but I'm pretty damn sure that bugged the fuck out of Kevin Feige. I know that bugged him. How do I know that? Because the scene where Sam finally figured out, he was telling Joaquin, I have a friend. Oh, was it Joaquin you were talking to?
Yeah, he was. I had a friend.
Yeah, who he's explaining the whole mind control thing. Was the scene that we got Giancarlo attacking Sam Wilson. Well, Giancarlo didn't get added to the cast until way late in the process when they started doing reshoots. That whole entire scene of him in the truck on the phone with that conversation, their fight, that was all new. So I was like, that bugged the shit out of Kevin Feige, because that bugged the shit out of us.
Yeah, we did.
as fans.
I'm
sure it bugged the shit out of y'all. Like, we know he got activated. We all said it in the trailer. When they showed that in the trailer, I'm like, oh shit, Isaiah got activated.
That was, and the debate, who is controlling him? Who's doing this? So having to sit there in the theater and watch that, and watch them, and painstakingly have to sit there and watch them try and figure out what was going on with Isaiah and the other guys that got activated, was like, again, I'm in the movie sitting there. I'm looking at, because I had Maurice on one side, I had my son on the other, and I'm looking at both of them like, so if am I the only one that remember what happened to Bucky? So we forgetting about that. We ain't talking about. All right. I mean, literally, I was so agitated because I'm like, y'all playing with me right now. Why the fuck y'all trying to play me for stupid at this point? Like, come on.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, of course, that was part of the issue of the original story, the writing, and you could tell it got rectified. It got corrected. So, props to Feige for that, because it bugged us. I'm sure it bugged him.
It irritated the fuck out of me.
It really did, because it was like,
don't play in my face.
But that was another bright spot in this movie, was Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna say this right now. My heart sunk, dropped, and I felt every part of that line when he said, "Sam, I can't go back."
Right.
I was like, fuck. The way he delivered that,
you can see the pain.
Man, I felt all of that.
And heartache and defeat. You can hear the defeat too. It was just like
he thought about, like, y'all gonna have to kill me. He thought about it.
Especially what he had to get, and I know it's because that PTSD from what he had to go through prior to that. He let us feel all that emotion that he felt having to go back into there, but he trusted Sam.
Yeah, Carl Lumley, man, like
he did a really good job.
We needed more of him in this movie.
We did. He is such a good character,
man,
with a good backstory that I felt like they could have did a little bit more with. But every time he was on screen, he absolutely delivered. He
is a treasure right now.
He is,
in my eyes, in the MCU. They need to figure out a way to just interact him more. I
am gonna say this, just because I'm goofy like that. So he already knows. I was like, after the second time we watched it, because I noticed it the first time, but then the second time we watched it, we was coming out of the theater. I was like, babe, who Isaiah remind you of? So when he was in jail, and he couldn't do his hair, and his hair was out like that. My dude looked like Ernie from Bert Nerd. I'm sorry. If you look at it, I was like, when I seen it the first time, I was like, oh, that's Ernie. Okay, I'm sorry. That's my goofy. That's me being fucking goofy.
But yeah, we needed more of him. I would have loved to have seen him in the Red Hulk fight with Sam.
I actually disagree with that.
I'm glad they didn't take it away from Sam, but at the same time, with the beef he had with Thunderbolt Ross, like some sort of involvement. But at the same time, I'm actually very happy that they did not take that from Sam.
Correct, because it was that moment in that fight with him between. First of all, it was an awesome fucking fight.
Yeah, it was.
That was the best fight scene besides
it's really,
him in the air fighting the Japanese.
It was really good to see a Savage Hulk back on this big screen.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was
awesome. That was fucking awesome.
CGI at the very beginning was
a little wonky.
It was a little wonky when he right before he actually like looked in the glass reflection of himself at the White House. It was a little off, but they corrected it really quick.
They corrected it, but I'm glad they let Sam do this fight on his own. For the simple fact was that was the defining moment right there. This is not Steve Rogers. This is Sam Wilson's Captain America. And if you notice throughout the fight, he wasn't even trying to hit him. He sliced him and stabbed him a couple times because he knew his hits, his punches weren't going to do a fucking thing. All he needed to do was
evade. And
slice and evade.
And it played
evade.
It played to his strength, and he really leaned in on his strength and skills,
and the Wakandan technology within his suit. That's what he had to lean on, and he knew that. And that was a huge thing because he is aware. Sam is fully aware. He does not have, and I love that line when he was walking up. Bucky is full of shit. I should have took that serum.
That was funny.
That was so fucking. It had me cracking up because he was right. I felt the same way.
The beating he was taking.
But it was. We needed this fight. We needed this fight because we needed to know how Sam stands up when it comes to something like that. Because they're going to be facing more threats that are bigger and much worse than a Red Hulk. So Sam being able to stand on his own, me being able to see, I can't speak for everyone, but me being able to see Sam not only hold his own in this, but he's aware of what he needs to do. So again, an untrained, unaware person would have kept trying to hit him and do all this stuff. He knew he couldn't do that. He knew that was going to have no effect. He knows he doesn't have the super soldier serum. So he did what he was supposed to do. He tried to ride it out by slicing and ducking. So it was like that evasion method was his best chance, and then trying to get to him. Like he allowed the Red Hulk to take out the anger that obviously Hulks have that rage going on inside them, and then tried to speak to his human side afterwards. But us being able to see that fight, him standing on his own against a Red Hulk without super soldier serum, only relying on his training and the gadgets and tech that he had on him, he held his fucking own. And I am so happy they gave us that. There was nobody to come in and save him. There was nobody doing anything. It was Sam and the Red Hulk. That's it. And I love that. And I appreciate that.
That's one of the things I appreciate too. I thought that they were going to end up bringing in Betty Ross in that scene to calm him down. But I'm so glad they didn't do that. The suit held up for as long as it could.
It did.
It did its job. Against the Red Hulk. So even that had its limits, but for Sam to immediately recognize that this Hulk was different than the Hulk that he knew, that this Hulk's skin was actually penetrable with the vibranium, so he used that to his advantage, but it was still only to slow him down a little bit.
He fought smart.
But okay, again, it showcased him leaning in on what makes him strong, which is his agility, his ability in the air,
and his quick thinking,
and very quick thinking, and he relied on that
self-awareness,
and it kept him alive long enough in that fight for him to talk him down. And the fact that they didn't take that away from us, they didn't take that away from him in that fight, I greatly appreciated that. Greatly appreciated that. Like, you know what? They made him stand up to it.
Thank you for that.
For as long as he could, because if that fight had gone on any longer,
my dude was gonna be gone. My bro was gonna be.
It was night.
Axed. There was gonna be no more Captain America.
If it had gone the way he was crushing that helmet with his head, man, yeah, like it was. You holding your own, but you on a time limit here, buddy. You better figure something out.
Right. And I mean, so we definitely got to see his strengths and where he works best at. And the best part about what he does is in the air. Sam owns the fucking air.
Which goes that the Indian Ocean battle.
Oh my God, that was a beautiful
that gave me Top Gun Maverick feels all over. I love
that movie. Oh, yes, it did.
All over again.
Yes, it did.
They should have that battle sequence should have been extended. It should have been a little bit longer.
And now I want to see it in 4D just to experience that that scene.
But damn, like they did their thing. But nothing beats. As much as we saw how the shield has been used in the past with Steve Rogers, this one took the cake for me. When he said Red Wing, give me some protection, and Red Wing took the shield and was flying behind him
and dodging those bullets
as he went to go take care of that, I was like, that's fucking dope.
You know what? I want to take a moment to give a shout out to Red Wing, because that motherfucker is dope as shit. That is like the best sidekick you can have. He knows his assignment, he understands his assignment, and he gets that shit done, and he will do it until he can't do it no motherfucking more.
Whoever came up with that, kudos.
I want a Red Wing. I want a fucking Red Wing. And then he had two. So I'm just like, I fucking love Red Wing. I do. That little sidekick is amazing. And I want one.
There was one thing.
Just like I want a Grogu.
There's one thing that did kind of bother me, and actually it was not only on this scene, but the Red Hulk fight scene, where you kind of have Sam doing some super soldier type shit. The way he bounced the shields off the missiles, like he accurately timed it, spun, flew it, bing, bing, bing. It's like, okay, that was some Steve Rogers type shit right there. Like, is he really throwing with that much force? Sam, nah. That was one. The second one was on top of the White House. When the Red Hulk had that flag staff, he swung it at those officers, and Sam swooped down and caught it with his hands.
No. But he was using the thrusters from his thing.
Even with using that though, the might that he's swinging that thing with, the fact that he didn't break we don't arm or anything.
But my whole thing is those thrusters we've already seen the capacity that they are at as far as strength wise. How he can.
I'm guessing the suit took the brute of the force, possibly.
Well, yeah,
that's what you want to explain it. But
that's just because remember that's how the Black Panther suited is. It absorbs those. And matter of fact, Shuri even explained that before Chadwick or before T'Challa, before he put up when she made the new suit, she explained to him how it absorbs punches and hits and stuff like that.
But his suit didn't give him superhuman strength.
No, it didn't give him superhuman strength, but it still absorbs hits and punches and stuff.
Yeah.
So it does take a little bit away from the sting of it. Like, he's still gonna get fucked up, but because of the absorption that it gets from it takes it away a little bit.
I guess it was able to take the force, the impact
for me
of the flag's pole.
I seen where it was happening because when he came to it, he already had the thrusters on. And we've seen how fast he can go when he puts those thrusters on the pack and he's flying through the air. So I'm calculating in my head because I did have to make sense of that scene too. So I was like, no, that actually makes sense because at the speed that he can go when those thrusters are on, and the fact that his suit can absorb quite a bit of a punch, he could go up there and stop that with the thrusters on, though. If them thrusters wasn't on, he'd have fucking died.
I think a lot of the stuff would have been
There's
more.
a few times he probably should have died.
Yeah. Also,
This movie.
I mean, he did go through the White House, literally. I was like, how the fuck?
If the Wakandans didn't make him that suit, Brad be dead.
But in regards to the suit, and I really wish they would have gave some explanation, a little bit deeper explanation into his suit, because we know it came from Wakanda, but that's all they've said. But the last time we saw any type of suit from Wakanda was in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, where Okoye and I forgot the other Dora's name, the one that quit Dora.
Oh, her sister.
That wasn't her sister.
Yes, it was.
It was. I know it was Isle's girlfriend.
But that was her sister.
That wasn't there.
Yes, it was, because she was talking about when they said when she was using the things, and she said our mother gave us these spears because they are.
No, they'll talk like that was more towards the history of the spears, and that wasn't like actually her mother. She even called her daughter of somebody when she went to go recruit her.
But I thought that was both of their mother.
No, they're not related at all.
I'm gonna look at this again.
Yeah, they're not related at all. But those suits that Shuri did build for them did grant them superhuman strength, which allowed them to actually go toe to toe.
Oh, the Dora Milaje suits.
Yeah, which allowed them to go toe to toe with the warriors from Talokan. So because they were all superhuman strength, and that was the reason why Wakanda was having a hard time dealing with Talokan. They were more skilled fighters, but they're basically fighting a whole race of Black Panthers at that point.
Yeah.
So when she created those suits, it evened the odds. I wonder if that was the same type of technology that was put into.
I feel like it was
Sam Wilson's
because
suit.
of the way that it operated. I automatically assumed that it was again because of the way that it operated. There was a lot of stuff that we seen that his suit can do that T'Challa was able to do in the Black Panther suit. So it was. I just automatically felt that that's what it was.
So I would have liked to have a little bit more context on the suit.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Which would have made it a little bit more understandable.
Which brings me to another missed fucking opportunity. And you heard us talk about it in our preview before we seen the movie, to where we were kind of expecting to see some type of Wakandan presence in this movie. And the reason why is adamantium. So vibranium, before adamantium was discovered, vibranium was thought to be the most powerful, the
strongest.
The strongest, I should say, yeah. The strongest on Earth. That was supposed to be something that was indestructible. That is something that nobody has anything against. So, or that comes close, even near close to it. So the fact that adamantium is introduced, this is a metal that is stronger than vibranium, although vibranium is more versatile.
Vibranium's a power source too.
Correct. It's a power source and a metal. So definitely more versatile. But adamantium is stronger than vibranium in its solidified state. So why would the Wakandans not show up? Why would they not have a part in this? Just for the simple fact of, we know what the governments, all the governments, and we've seen that in Wakanda Forever, what they were trying to do to get their hands on vibranium, because the Wakandans wouldn't give it to them for good fucking reason. Why would they not want to be? Why would they not be in it? Why would they not want to know what they are up against? Because when it comes to people like the US, for instance, let's just take that, we thrive on power. We want to have more power. We want to be stronger than everyone. So to have something that outdoes vibranium and the Wakandans, why would they not want to know? Why would they not have a stake in this, and why would they not have an appearance? The only thing that I could think of at this point was because Wakandans do love to be stealthy. They are very stealthy. They are patient. They are the most patient people fucking ever in life. But they are patient, they are stealth, and they are smart. So they like to sit back in the cut And I didn't think of this until afterwards, because it's still a missed opportunity for me. We still should have seen something. But in the end, what I chalked it up to was because of who the Wakandans are and what they like to be, what they represent. They don't like a lot of confrontation, but they will finish some shit if you start it. So I chalked it up to the fact of, like, the Queen Mother told us, Angela Bassett's character, she said, we hear what you whispers within your walls and stuff like that. So they have war dogs, spies and stuff and things in pretty much all the governments to make sure that they know what's going on in this world, who's plotting against Wakanda, what they need to prepare for and things like that. So maybe they didn't show up, or we didn't get that presence because they like to stay in that stealth mode. They don't like people to know that they are watching them. So that's the only reason that I can figure as to why the Wakandans did not make an appearance of any kind in this. Although I do think his personal bodyguard, his lead bodyguard, Thaddeus's lead bodyguard, the black chick, part of me still thinks she is a war dog, but we'll see.
That was a missed opportunity for me.
It was a missed opportunity.
When Sam initially, when he alluded to it in that conversation he had with Isaiah, when they were talking about going to the White House, that he has a friend close by or keeping eyes on Thaddeus. I'm like, okay, maybe she is a war dog, because since Sam got his suit, which is vibranium tech, from Wakanda, it would make sense that they would keep an eye on that too. Because they like to keep an eye on their technology and want to know how it's being used. So, like, okay, well, maybe she's going to be a war dog. Maybe she was at some point and they wrote it out. I don't know, but missed opportunity if you're trying to do a spy thriller or an espionage thriller, political thriller. And with this tapping into the whole geopolitical scale, like, how did you miss that?
Right.
In the writing? How did you miss that? How did you miss that? How did you miss the fact that Isaiah was activated like a Winter Soldier was? Like, how those elements could have elevated the movie a little bit more. In total.
It was a very clunky made movie. There was nothing that flowed about it. There was so many missed opportunities, and there was so much that was just forgotten about, like started and never finished. And that bothered me. There was a lot of leftovers in that damn fridge.
Yeah. Bucky's appearance.
I actually did like
I loved it. I absolutely loved it because it came at the right time.
He needed it at that moment.
It came at the right time.
And I even loved the humor they put with it, because that was funny.
But I mean, it showed us where they are in their friendship. Bucky has a lot of love and respect for Sam. Sam was damn happy to see him at that moment.
Right.
Yeah, it came at the perfect time. He's going to be congressman. I don't know how that shit's happening.
Oof.
We'll see in Thunderbolts.
Bucky is a congressman, though.
And then there's mixed feelings out there for him. I actually really like him, Joaquin Torres as Falcon. I like this character a lot. And another thing I really appreciated that they did do right in this movie was kind of highlight the fact that this kid's an amateur.
He is such an amateur,
he's an amateur.
So relevant to the kids these days. The first thing I said about that young man is he remind me of my kids. He did that fucking sassy ass talk, that smart ass mouth. He's like he's fucking rude without being disrespectful.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of these kids are. He has morals, he has values, but he's still this new generation of kids. And he was relatable. I loved his character. I loved the way he portrayed his character. He did it very well, and he flowed. I loved the dynamic between Sam and Torres. So their dynamic was kind of like a big brother, little brother type thing going on there. And Torres is he's definitely an amateur.
Yeah, I like the fact that they highlighted that he is an amateur,
which is why I love the talk between him and Sam when he at the end when they were in the hospital, when he was in the hospital and went to go visit him after he woke up. That talk was so deep, and it was needed to just kind of hear the weight.
It's going to motivate him.
Well, not just the motivation, it was the weight that we can hear. And that was another thing about Anthony Mackie. Him portraying Sam Wilson and what he's going through. And of course, he can relate to it because he's still a black man in America in this show and in real life. So it's that hate, that heaviness, that stress of trying to carry the symbolism that he is while facing so much adversity, so much hatred from ignorant people and just everything. It's one of those, but he still believes in what he's doing. He still believes that people are good no matter how hateful and ignorant and undeserving. I feel that a lot of them have. That's the reason why Steve chose him in the first place, because he's going to keep enduring that hatred, that ignorance, and every fucking thing else, and he's still going to protect everyone.
He's still going to do the job.
He's still going to do what he's supposed to do. He is still going to uphold the integrity, the respect, the morals, that everything that is what Captain America represents and is supposed to be. He is still going to do it regardless of what anybody else out there is saying. So to be able to hear that in his voice and him make us feel that as well while he's talking to Joaquin, and then the way Joaquin received it. I love the way he received it. When he received it, and then that vulnerable moment from him to where he's not being a little smart ass. He was literally being him and letting us know where this comes from. He may be a smart ass, but he's a smart ass with not just a good heart, but integrity, and he's a genuinely good person. And he wants to do this. He's willing to help take on that load with Sam because that's who he is. And to have them share that moment, they already had a good chemistry, but to have them share that moment on screen and to allow us to see that vulnerable side of both of them, I love that. I absolutely love that part.
Yeah, I really liked the character.
I did.
It wasn't too much of him. Honestly,
he didn't overdo it.
It was not enough. I think I can lean on the side of not enough of him.
I'm right on the cusp.
But he has his strengths. And he's learning the whole air combat thing. And Sam is making sure he's trying to put him in the right situations to succeed.
But we all know how it is with getting kids these days trying to fucking listen to shit that you say. I be wanting to punch mine in the throat, but that's a whole nother story.
But I've heard there's mixed reactions out there about him. I actually like him.
I do. I really like him.
And I'm looking forward to seeing him being a part of the team. Some people got an issue with him actually becoming a member of the Avengers, but honestly, it's the same way.
The same way Sam did. It's the same way Sam did.
He had one outing with Cap, and he was an Avenger.
Correct.
So he was partying in Stark Tower with the rest of the Avengers.
So what is the real issue? Because it's literally the same thing. What is the real issue? So, but we don't want to talk about that. Right. We're not right now.
But yeah, the battle over the Indian Ocean, that was absolutely phenomenal.
I love that. I loved it, and it showed us more of his strengths in the air. He's definitely got a lot better than he was, because he's always been really good in the air. He's always been able to use the wings really well. But with this Wakandan tech infused into his,
he looks more agile.
He does look more agile, and he looks like he just belongs there. He looks like it just bends to his will. We all seen him do some new things we ain't never seen Sam do before, which was fucking amazing.
That ride the missile scene.
Oh my God. The surfboard.
That was dope.
The little surfing it down into the water, that was actually pretty fucking cool.
They helped giving him the high altitude flight now.
Yes.
Because he wasn't able to do that.
I love it.
That opening scene, although it's mixed, I love seeing him. I'm like, oh shit, he's way up there.
That's just it.
Dive bomb, I was like, character. That was dope.
I didn't like everything else. I did love that dive bomb.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was what came after that I didn't like. But yeah, so there was definitely a lot of misses, but there was still some good in there. Yeah. The characters themselves were good. They were great. The movie needs a lot of fucking work.
It had a lot of work. It had a lot of work.
But it wasn't.
But it messed up the flow.
It did. It was so
it didn't flow
clunky,
well.
choppy. It felt like it was tripping over itself.
It didn't flow well.
Somebody didn't tie their shoestrings.
Editing room
and just kept
had a hard
tripping.
time because the score was terrible.
Fucking running into walls and shit and windows, clear windows.
The score for this was terrible.
Yeah.
And it was not only was it terrible, it was overused. Like there were some scenes that you did not need to hear the score in the background, which made it feel like it was moving faster than it should.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like really important information that we need to gather as an audience too. So I was like, who missed that mark? Like, knock out the score so that we could focus on the conversation.
The one scene which he pointed out to me, which once he did, I was like, oh yeah. Well, the one when Sam and what was his name in there? Sidewinder?
Yeah, Sidewinder.
So when Sam and Sidewinder were talking in that facility to where he was being held captive at, that score was completely unnecessary. I think when I first seen that scene before he made me realize it, I blocked the music out. And because I have been a mother, because I've been a mother for so long, I have become a fucking pro and a master at blocking out shit that makes no sense around me and focusing on one thing. So I don't think I even realized the music there before because I wasn't paying attention to it. I was just trying to listen to Sam and Sidewinder. But then when he pointed it out to me, I was like, oh, that's fucking stupid. Why is that music there?
Yeah. There's a couple of scenes. One with Ross and his assistant when they were on Air Force One. It was like, this is not needed, and it's really messing up the flow. Like the movie tried to correct itself at this point, and this scene is really jacked up because of the score. It's not needed here.
There was a lot of unnecessary shit. There was a lot of overdone shit.
The score is so bad. Like, we don't even have a theme song for Cap.
There was not a theme song.
We don't have one. I think they do, but does anybody remember it?
No.
Like,
so we don't have one.
We know what Thor's is. We know what Black Widow's is. Like,
we know what Steve Rogers' theme song is, but are we supposed to use that same one for this Cap too, or does he have his? Oh, I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
there was a lot in this movie. Again, the acting was phenomenal. The movie was bad. The movie itself was bad. It was clunky. It was trippy. Oh no. I don't even know what to say about it. It's like, I can't even you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Y'all see
it wasn't a trash movie.
No. It just wasn't a good movie.
It's just in between good and bad. It was solid. It was, I guess you could say it was a good movie. It just wasn't.
If we're scoring it, I think I'm gonna put it right in between that 2.5 to 3 stars. So I'm not at 2.
That's where I'm at.
I'm just a little bit more than 2.5, but I'm not quite at 3.
At 3, yeah. I'm having a hard time finding reasons to make it 3 out of 5 stars.
There was so many things that I appreciated about the movie. Yeah. I loved the acting, the characters. I loved where they were trying to go with the movie, and there were some things like the Red Hulk fight scene, the Indian Ocean air scene, just some of the moments between like Sam and Bucky, Sam and Joaquin, and just things like that I really love, for them showing us that he is not Captain America and allowing him to be the star of this movie and not bring in a bunch of other people and take that away from him. We got to actually see Sam Wilson's Captain America. Those are the things that I appreciated, which is why I'm giving it just a little bit more than 2.5, but I can't get to the 3 yet because there was so much wrong with the movie itself. Yeah. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
I will say I am looking forward to his next outing.
I am too.
As Captain America.
That I am.
I'm looking forward to his outing in the Avengers. Maybe he has an appearance in Thunderbolts. We don't know. But I am looking forward to seeing him as Captain America going forward.
So am I.
Yeah.
I am appreciative.
It did do that much for me.
It is. And again, I went into this movie with 0 expectations. But I like the direction they're trying to go in. That's what I do like. I can actually see the direction. Getting there is how they're getting there is the problem for me. That's a huge problem for me.
Well, I mean, I think some things are pretty bright.
Yeah.
for the MCU.
That is true.
Going forward. Again, we're out of it. We're done with the Chapek era. Daredevil. God, looking forward to that.
I'm so ready.
But then Thunderbolts look good.
It looks so fucking good. I'm actually more enthusiastic about that movie than I was.
Yeah. So same here. I'm starting to really get hyped for Fantastic Four.
I'm still the same.
I'm starting to really get hyped for that. That movie is. I mean, we know they're going to start shooting Avengers next month. So we're getting Doomsday next year, but that doorstep, like that step to the door for Avengers, I feel like is Fantastic Four, and I think they got some shit for us in that movie. For those who want to go see Captain America in IMAX, apparently they did They did the Fantastic Four IMAX countdown to the movie.
I wanted to see it in IMAX, but we went to Dolby.
Yeah, we went to Dolby, but I was like, oh shit! So they're really starting to like. There's the advertising so
It's
far
smart.
even for Daredevil has picked up, but for Thunderbolts has picked up, and for Fantastic Four and which is further away, has really picked up. And when Marvel does this, they typically got something big for us. So I was really, really low on Fantastic Four just because it's the Fantastic Four. I haven't really been a big fan of them. The other movies were not good. But for some reason, this one is starting. It's getting up there for me. I think they got some shit for us in this Fantastic Four movie.
I still feel the same. But I mean, with that being said,
let us know what you thought.
I am definitely still. I'm so much looking forward to seeing more of Sam's Captain America. Yeah. I appreciate him. I appreciate him for going through everything he's having to endure as Anthony Mackie with embracing this character and the ignorance and stupidity and just the all around just fucking dumbness of it all. And he's still doing it with a smile on his face, with that sense of humor that we've come to like.
Keeps that same energy.
Love, yeah, he still has that same energy. It's like he's carrying what he has to do in being Sam Wilson from Anthony Mackie to being Sam Wilson, and it's just I love it. I love that. I appreciate him. Thank you, Anthony Mackie. You probably won't ever see this, but thank you. I appreciate you for doing this as gracefully as you are, in spite of all of the stupidity and ignorance and shit being said out there. There are those of us out here still root for you, and I'm waiting to see that. I'm ready to see more of Sam Wilson's Captain America. I like it. I don't give a damn about what everybody else do and don't like about it. Or I would say, I don't give a damn about what everybody else don't like about it. I do. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it, and I'm ready to see more of him. So, for those of you who are not ready to see anybody else outside of Steve Rogers, get the fuck over it.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
I know I'm still saying shit about Henry Cavill's Superman. If I gotta get over that, y'all gotta get over this shit.
And it's a wrap, and
move on.
We had some.
It is what it is.
Bangers with Steve Rogers, Captain America.
We did.
We had some straight bangers.
I still and again, this is coming from a person who, when I first realized and it first sunk in that Steve Rogers wasn't going to be Captain America anymore, I was like, why the fuck are you doing this to us? That's my Captain America. I love Steve Rogers. Like, that doesn't go away. I still love Steve Rogers, Captain America. But for whatever reason, they were ready to move on. And Chris Evans was ready to move on. And the best person to take up that mantle was Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson, Captain America.
Well, next is going to be Spider-Man.
And I love it. Fucking Miles Morales. Next
is going to be Spider-Man. We're getting ready to move on from Peter, I feel like.
We need to. How many Peters we done had?
Yeah, and
how many
let's keep that real. It is time.
How many new movies have we done come out with because of
we've had a number of iterations of
goddamn Peter Parker.
And they all showed up. They all showed up in one movie for us too. So
they absolutely did. I'm ready.
It's
for Miles Morales to be put into the universe with, even if it's him and Peter Parker. I'm just ready for Miles Morales to step into it. But either way, Steve Rogers is no more, and I'm willing to move on from that. And I am happy, I am honored to have Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson's Captain America.
And I think we as fans
need to look past the bullshit and quit being stupid.
Not only that, but I think we really need to appreciate and there's something
movies.
We're not doing that with these characters' growth and evolution.
Right.
And it's like at some point we do gotta move on.
So my thing is, if you're having trouble with this, do not ever tell me you were a comic book fan. Don't you ever in your fucking life tell me you were a comic book fan. Because if you read the comics, you know how many changes we went through in that shit with a lot of things. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
There's a number of iterations
and I understand
of
that
Captain Marvel or Spider-Man
yeah, right. So, and I understand
from Iron Man to Ironheart,
that they are not following the comics, but still.
No, people just don't want to see them on the big screen.
What I'm saying is, it's not that I already know. We've been known that they don't follow the comics. We know that. It's the fact of you still need to get over the fact that there's not going to be one character. There is going to be another reiteration of that character at some point, because this is what happens. Except for Storm. And Wonder Woman. But I'm just saying.
I mean for the X-Men in general, there have not been another iteration of those characters.
Right.
I mean, the Phoenix Force got passed on from different characters, but that was about it.
Which shouldn't have. But it's that's another thing. What I'm saying, what I'm trying to get out there is there are going to be reiterations of these characters. And we do need to move on. I know in the beginning it's gonna hurt because again, in the beginning I was just like, I don't want fucking another Captain America. But I love Sam Wilson's Captain America.
If you don't evolve these characters, these stories,
how do you expect the universe to grow?
Well, it's not only that. This is when you're gonna run into the infamous comic book movie fatigue.
Stagnant.
That gets talked about.
You become stagnant.
If we're going to continue to do the same shit with the same characters, as much as I love Robert Downey Jr., as much as I love Chris Evans,
as much as I love Hugh Jackman's Logan or Wolverine,
people are already talking about it's time to move on from him. And we love Hugh Jackman.
You have no idea how much I love. There was for a very long time I said, you better not give me another fucking Wolverine unless it is somebody that can be of the stature of fucking Hugh Jackman. Because there are people who are just born to play certain parts. Hugh Jackman was born to play fucking Wolverine. I can't even imagine another Wolverine, but I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
I am ready to move on.
You've got to evolve. Yeah, and granted, you do got to do it right.
Yes.
But...
yes.
If you continue to do the same things with the same actors, same faces, different stories, at some point, even though it could be a good movie, we're going to be like...
you become stagnant, complacent.
What are we doing with this? What are we doing with this? So that's when you do run into the whole comic book fatigue. Mm-hmm. So when you see a new Captain America, at some point we're going to see a new Spider-Man. We're going to see... Riri Williams take up the Stark technology. We're gonna see things like that take place. There are stories there that need to be told, that can be told. That's going and that needs to happen. It has to happen. It's got to evolve.
And this is my love for comic books. My love for comic books. One of the main reasons is because they gave us those next stories. Mm-hmm. They didn't.
The story has to continue
with just one stagnant storyline. They went so many fucking different ways, and it was beautiful. I love seeing what they could come up with next.
For those that are saying, "Oh, we don't want to see the kid Prince T'Challa, but we want our King T'Challa back." Unfortunately, Marvel made the wrong move by killing him off. We all can agree with that.
Definitely agree with that.
I will preach that shit to the heavens. They fucked up royally. However, we're beyond that point.
We have a way to bring him back. But at some point, y'all do understand King T'Challa was not going to live forever. We were going to have an heir.
But appreciate the fact that we get to grow.
He has a son in the comics.
We get to see this kid grow into the Black Panther mantle, the mantle of the king.
Yeah, because we got T'Challa when he was already an adult.
We get to grow with this character.
We get to learn him. We get to watch him become the Black Panther. We get to see his journey. We get to fall in love with him from a kid.
There are some things that are positive about that. I understand the frustration.
Oh, who said they don't want to see the kid? That is the stupidest shit I've ever fucking heard.
There's a lot of people out there say, I don't want the kid. We want our king back. We want King T'Challa. King T'Challa, unfortunately, is dead. They killed him off.
Yeah, I do understand.
I hate saying it. I hate the fact that they did it. But they did it.
Anyway. Yeah, I do understand that was coming anyway. So
the best way to rectify that,
eventually we were still going. I would have loved to see T'Challa raise his son. We would have all loved that, but we can't.
Yeah,
what happened, but still, we were always going to get his son coming into this part.
That was the original script.
It just got moved up a little bit more, but we were always going to see his son become the Black Panther.
We were going to see his son.
What the fuck is wrong with people?
We were going to see his son in the second Black Panther movie, regardless. That was that was originally a father and son story.
So
if we did not lose Chadwick, we would have got a story with him and his son. We were getting him regardless.
Yeah, I mean they were gonna omit the whole because
we were getting him regardless.
If you read the comics, you know she actually became the Black Panther after T'Challa.
That part got sped up.
Yeah, it got sped up, but it was actually going to be taken out because we were going to get that father-son movie and move forward with that. But because we lost Chadwick Boseman, we still got Shuri's Black Panther, and probably just for that one movie. Because now we're getting another King T'Challa.
She'll reprise her role, and
she will. But what I'm saying is being the lead of the movie.
Oh yeah.
That was we only got that for one, which was great. That was fine. We needed that filler in between, and now we're getting our King T'Challa back. Not Chadwick Boseman, but we are still getting another King T'Challa, and then we are gonna get his son. We are gonna get T'Challa coming in. We're still going to get to watch him grow into becoming the Black Panther. That is still going to be a thing. So I haven't seen that personally, but he watches this. He watches all that more than I do. But for those who are saying that they don't want the kid, you're fucking stupid. And I'm just going to put that out there. That is the stupidest shit fucking ever, because either way, we were going to get him.
Yeah,
I don't even understand that logic. Make that shit make sense.
But I mean, that's where I'm at when it comes to the MCU too. I think at some point the stories are got to evolve, along with the story evolving. There's a change of characters. That shit has to happen. It has to happen. And people are so stuck on the run we had with phases 1, 2, and 3. Yes, they were fucking phenomenal. They were great. Then Disney went through the Bob Chapek bullshit. Now we're getting back on track, but we're gonna go in a different direction. It's time. Unfortunately, it's hard to let go. I get it, but it's time to let go of some of these characters.
Yeah,
it is. It's time to let go, and let's make sure and hope that they transition into these new leads properly. So yes, the MCU definitely does need a face, because it was Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. for a very long time.
Yeah.
We do have some OGs that's still around. Chris Hemsworth. Mark Ruffalo, those guys are still around, so they'll help see this transition. I really do hope that they do more with Brie Larson's Carol of Danvers. I think they need to do more with her.
They do. They do.
But yeah, that's where we are right now.
We are coming into a new era, so move the fuck on.
Yeah, it's time to move on.
Like y'all,
if you don't like
it,
then bounce.
Like y'all selling us in the DCU. We need to move the fuck on. And that's what we're doing. We're moving the fuck on. So let's move the fuck on. Let's move on. We are moving on, and whether you like it or not, we are moving on. So just get over it.
And quit trying to make videos saying the MCU and Disney is done. They're not done.
How are they done?
They're still racking in the money.
Please tell me how are they done?
If Fast and Furious ain't done
I need you to make that make shit. I need you to make it make sense to me. I'm so tired of people putting this shit out there and just spewing all this dumbass shit, and it doesn't even make sense.
If Universal
Make it
is
make
not
sense.
has not crashed because Fast and Furious has not died yet,
Which should have a long time ago.
and we
but
know how ridiculous those movies
That
are.
shit is so fucking
what in the
ridiculous.
hell makes you think the
But
MCU
we watch
is
it for
dead?
the ridiculousness
Get
of
over
it.
it.
I fucking love Fast and Furious. I'd never go into a Fast and Furious movie because, oh, this is going to be a great... No, I need to see all the unnecessary fucking bullshit that could never happen in real life happen there. I want to see that shit happen. That's what I go to see Fast and Furious for.
Oh, we all do
Fuck
at this
everything
point.
else. So I don't give a damn what nobody say. I love that shit. That's what we
Anyway.
watch it for. Anyhow, squirrel.
Yeah, jump down in the comments. Let us know how you guys felt about
Yeah.
the movie. What you like, what you didn't like, what we may have missed in our review. We did wing it. We didn't have any notes.
Correct.
So, if we did miss something, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know how you feel.
Yeah, just tell us. And because, we love that feedback and we definitely reply when we can. Life be lifing. But yeah, as always, thank you for hanging out with us. And until the next, I think the next thing is what, Daredevil?
Yes, we will be reacting to Daredevil.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be reacting to all that.
Yeah,
That's going to be awesome.
Look forward for those. We got to finish up Squid Game season 2, at least part 1 of season 2.
I know we late. Don't be judging our life.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through editing episode 5.
When we tell y'all life be lifing, this
Yeah.
is not our job.
No.
So this is not something we do for monetary gain.
We do this for fun.
We do this because we
Yeah,
love
we love
this.
it.
So life be lifing for us. We have some other things going on.
So look forward to I will get the rest of our Squid Games up. Daredevil will be on top of that. We will be doing Alice in Borderland season 3 since that did get announced. I'm still getting caught up on it. We're on season 2.
I doubt it.
Well, we will.
He's still. I don't even. Think
I am into it. I'm just slow getting back to it.
which means he's not into it.
But no, because
I fucking loved it, and I can't wait for the third season.
No,
to
I
come out.
am into it. I saw the advertisement and they had the Joker card. I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out where they're gonna go. He hasn't seen the second season
No.
yet.
Well, we're in the second season.
Yeah, if you've seen the second season, you understand where are they going from here. What is this third season gonna be about? And I don't want to give too much away because he hasn't seen it yet. But if you have, you understand what I'm talking about. Where the fuck we going from here?
Yeah.
That's what I'm. I guess this was like Squid Games. I was wondering where we were gonna go with Squid Games, bringing it another season. That's how I feel like Alice in Borderlands. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But
thanks for being patient with it.
Yes.
With us. So we'll get those up as soon as possible, and I'll get some more information up about the Patreon that we are working on.
yeah,
Getting that up too. With this episode of Squid Game, I did split it, so I will be uploading not only for the YouTube but for our Patreon, the uncut version.
We are going to
for our
have some
reaction.
membership things going on.
Yeah.
So we're going to have we're because we are going to CinemaCon this year. And so we're going to have that up on for members only and a few other things, some unedited things, some extra things that are going on, stuff that, we don't really normally talk about, but we will as far as DC and Marvel is going. But so look out for that for the membership.
I feel like we're getting something at CinemaCon. I can't.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm so
I
excited.
can't wait.
I'm so excited.
It's either Superman or Fantastic Four. One of those we're gonna get a screening of those.
But if you are a member, you're going to be able to see us because we're going to document the whole thing, or at least as much as we can of it.
Yeah, I know. We'll sign some documents.
Correct. So if you are a member with us, look out for that because that's going to be fucking amazing. But again, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Go ahead. If you've lasted this long, please go ahead and if you've not already done it, click that like and subscribe button. If you want to hear more from us, go ahead and hit that notification button as well so you don't miss anything. But again, we appreciate you. We thank you all. And until next time, deuces.
Deuces.